Trump agrees 2-week ceasefire on Iran strike. What is Iran's 10-point proposal to end war? Israel says U.S.-Iran ceasefire does not include Lebanon. Vessel movement through Hormuz depends on coordination with Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump has agreed to suspend planned military strikes on Iran for 2 weeks following last-minute diplomatic efforts. Trump said the decision came after talks with Pakistan's leadership, who urged a pause in the attack. The suspension is conditional on Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz to global shipping. Iran's Foreign Minister Apr'26 confirmed a tentative agreement, saying Iran would halt its defensive operations if attacks stop. He added that safe passage through the strait would be allowed during the 2-week period. Pakistan was credited by both sides for helping mediate the temporary de-escalation. Iran's leadership has indicated the pause could be extended if negotiations continue successfully. The development marks a rare diplomatic breakthrough amid ongoing tensions in the region. U.S. President Donald Trump has signaled willingness to use Iran's proposed terms as a basis for negotiations to end the ongoing war. Iran's 10-point proposal includes key demands such as a U.S. commitment to non-aggression and recognition of Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran is also calling for the lifting of all U.S. sanctions and the end of international restrictions related to its nuclear program. Other points include compensation for war damages and the withdrawal of U.S. military forces from the region. Iran is also demanding a complete halt to the conflict across all fronts, including in Lebanon. The proposal reflects Tehran's conditions for entering serious negotiations. If accepted, it could mark a shift toward diplomacy after weeks of escalating military confrontation. However, major differences remain between both sides, and it is unclear whether a final agreement can be reached. Israel has expressed support for the United States' decision to suspend strikes on Iran for 2 weeks. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel backs efforts to ensure Iran no longer poses a threat through its nuclear or missile programs. However, he clarified that the temporary ceasefire does not apply to Lebanon. The statement contrasts with earlier remarks from Pakistan suggesting a broader ceasefire across the region. Talks aimed at resolving the conflict are expected to take place in Islamabad in the coming days. The differing interpretations highlight ongoing uncertainty about the scope of the truce. Tensions remain high, particularly along the Lebanon front, where fighting has continued. The situation underscores the fragile nature of the current pause in hostilities. Iran says safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be allowed during the temporary ceasefire, but only under strict coordination. Foreign Minister Apr'26 stated that vessels must coordinate with Iran's armed forces to pass through the strategic waterway. He added that this arrangement will remain in place during the 2-week pause in fighting. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical global oil route, and its disruption has impacted energy markets worldwide. The statement follows a tentative agreement between Iran and the United States to halt hostilities for a limited period. Officials say the measure is intended to ensure controlled and secure navigation while tensions remain high. The development highlights Iran's continued influence over the key maritime corridor during the ceasefire.